All right. Hello, online Photo 110 Fundamentals of Photography students. I'm going to introduce you to the layout of this course and share some things to expect. These videos are not entertaining, but they're really important. So I hope that you watch it in its entirety because I'm going to answer some important questions. Obviously, if you still have questions at the end of this, please reach out. I'm guessing you may have some about cameras. So from the McDowell Tech homepage, the way to access your class is to click this link in the top right that says Open LMS. Now we're closed Monday and Tuesday, but these online classes are going to open on Tuesday. So if you have access to electricity and your Wi-Fi is working, then you should just go ahead and log into your classes and start to get oriented. When you log in here, if you have never taken a class at McDowell Tech before, you're going to see an empty screen here and these instructions on the bottom left. You need to follow those instructions to set up your LMS account. LMS stands for Learning Management System. So when you hear us say LMS, we're referring to these miniature little online web pages that are dedicated to each class that you're registered for here at McDowell Tech. Once you have that set up, you'll be able to log in. When you log in, it's going to default to this screen. So you don't see any classes yet. Let me move this video out of the way. You're going to see my courses here in the top right, and that's what you need to click to see the classes you're registered for. If you were to do this right now, you're not going to see anything. These classes will not open until Tuesday morning around 7 or 8 a.m. That's tomorrow, January 27th. Unless you had a 16-week class, but for photography, what I'm talking about, 14-week classes, they open tomorrow. So you're going to see this fundamentals of photography class online. You notice here it says hidden from students right now because it's currently hidden. When you click on that, you're going to get this table of contents on the left-hand side. It's taking a second to load here, which isn't great. There we go. And then you're going to have the course information. So all of the weeks are listed here, including spring break with all of the dates. I teach this class seated as well. So what you're going to have here are mirrors of my seated class, except for you're going to be working online. So under the course information, the first thing you need to do is take this enrollment quiz before you do anything else. Then you can move on to looking at the syllabus. I would keep the syllabus to reference for the schedule. So it has a ton of information about equipment and other things like that, which I've emailed, but that's also where you can find information about that. And you scroll down to the last page. Apologize, the internet is a little slow with the bad weather. So here's the schedule on the last page, and this is pretty important. That's mostly what you're going to want to look at on the syllabus. So if I go back to the class, I want you to pay close attention on the left-hand table of contents that at the very bottom, there's an area called importing and submitting photos. You need to look at everything here and make sure you understand how to do this with the equipment you have. I don't know what computer you're using. I have information here for Chromebooks, which I know a lot of high school students have. Oh, I found a typo. I'll fix typos when I find them. That's everything about importing and submitting photos for assignments. And then there's also an entire separate section with the Lightroom mobile tutorial videos. So please pay attention to that being there. Lightroom mobile is the software that we're going to use to import, edit, and export photos. It's very important. So you're going to be learning that as well as how to use a camera, because with digital photography, you can't do one without the other. So when you look at the weeks, you'll notice that I've kept the Tuesday and Thursday in there. That's just a suggestion to help you manage your time. You can always work ahead. I don't accept late assignments. You cannot work backwards. You can work ahead, but you cannot work backwards. Once an assignment closes, it's closed. If you sent me an email about extenuating circumstances and I give you approval to submit a late assignment, then I will open the assignment for you specifically. Other than that, do not plan on submitting late work because I don't accept it. And that might be different from high school students, but that's the way it is. So those are the most important things that I can share with you to help you get oriented and really just logging in and looking through the course. Sometimes I leave all these weeks open and sometimes I close them and just open them at the beginning of the week. I'm not exactly debating what I think is best there. If I leave them open, you can work ahead if you're really crushing it. So I think that's always kind of a positive thing. Please reach out if you have any questions. If you plan on loading a camera, that doesn't necessarily mean I have a camera. I need to know who needs them. And you'll have to fill out that loaner form. I've sent lots of links to it, but there's also a link right here. And I have to have that completed. I sent a digital version for those of you who are online. Your parents and yourself can sign it and send it back to me. But then you have to come to the school to pick up a camera. You'll pick that up for me directly. So we just need to communicate via email about that. I hope you have an awesome time in this class. Looking forward to you learning more about photography and wishing you the best. Take care. Bye-bye.